Hello, my name is Amina and I'm your decision-making specialist. And today it is day 96, June 19th, 2020, day 96. And wherever you are and how far out there you are going, I hope you will keep very safe and help everyone around you to be safe too, because the virus is going to last and we are literally all in this together. So let's be here together in the very best, safest way we can. Today, I just finished a phone call with one of my clients, and she was talking about teaching one of her sons to read. He's just learning how to read. And school is over and she wants to continue. And so she was talking to me about it. And I listened, and there's some frustration, of course, and then there's some real joy when there are some major breakthroughs. And after we hung up, I sat there for a while, and I thought back at a time when I helped some students, some children learn to read. I had decided that I wanted to volunteer. I'd met a woman, and she became a really good friend, was, and she is a teacher in an elementary school. And she was talking to me about some of her students. She had about, I think there were probably 6 students, and they were reading way below grade level according to the testing. And she had had somebody that would work with her and those students, and that person left for some reason, and she was talking about them, and I said, I think I would like to try to help if that's all right. And I'm not a teacher in that respect. I do teach about decision making, and I've taught other classes. I've never worked directly teaching younger children. And I thought, well, let's give it a whirl. And so every day of the week, those 6 students would come into a special room in the library that we had, and I talked to them and listened, and I said, what if, always the what if tool, what if you could read the way you wanted to? What is a book that you would like to read? And they kind of looked at each other and said, we can't read very well, we don't know. So I said, well, we're in the library and there are tons of books here. So how about this first day, you look around and take your time, and I want you to find a book that you would like to be able to read. So they looked, and each of them had their own method of deciding the book they wanted. Some it was by a picture, some they asked the librarian the name of the book because they had heard somebody talk about a book, or they had watched a movie and wondered if there was a book. And so each of them came back with the name of the book that they wanted to learn to read. Now, I will tell you, those books were well above the 3rd grade level that they were in. And I let them pick out their book, and I decided not to say a word about, well, you can't, or this is going to be hard, or what if you don't be able to do it. None of that. I wanted them to believe in themselves, and I was determined to find a way to make that belief come true. So this is not about me raising my hand and saying, oh, good for Amina. No, this is to let you know that I was in that with them. And I am really tenacious, and I do not give up. I might slow down a bit, and I don't give up. And I wanted them to learn how to not give up on themselves, which is what I want for you and what I want for everyone that I know and haven't met yet. So to continue the story, I went to the librarian with the list, and I asked her if she would let me check those books out and keep them for a month. And she said, absolutely. She had talked with each of the kids, and she was a great woman, good librarian, and had the human touch with the children. So we got the book, and I handed each book to each one of those children, and I said, here is your book. And then I had sent for a bit of material about phonics. They're all different ways of teaching reading, and I know that, and each one of them has their pluses and their downfalls a little bit, and I'm not here to say that one's better than the other. I'm here just to tell you that that's what I did. And so I got the phonics, I got the workbooks, and we worked. And we began with the sound of A and all the different sounds that you can make with that. And we worked our way every day with some of the pages of the workbook. And then each of them would get their book that they wanted to be able to read. And I would have them go through their book and find a word that used that sound. And they did. And at first, they would kind of shuffle out of the class, and I asked them how they were, and they said, well, other people are looking, and other people think they're dumb because they have to come to class. And so after a while, they started watching the clock and telling my friend, their teacher, that it was time to go. And they would come into that special room in the library, and they would already have their workbooks, and they were ready to go. And they absolutely were just charming and special kids, because I would make copies of what they had practiced during this day. They actually took it home and practiced. I had no idea, And they came back. We did this for a month. And then I asked them if they wanted to continue, and they said they did. And so we did it for 6 months. At the end of that 6 months, I asked them to open up their book at page 1. And they read, and they read, and they read. And I am not saying that it was a miracle. I am not saying I had a magic wand. I am not saying anything except that is the power of people and children believing in themselves, that they did what everyone had told them, including themselves, was impossible. Their past did not and will not include the future. I was very lucky with that class because the mothers, even though they were busy, some of them had 2 jobs, they were so great to support their children in whatever way they could. And so the message is, figure out what you would like, no matter how big it is, and never, ever give up. I want you to remember these kids, and I want you to have your outcome over here, and that's your vision, and that is where you will be. And right here, be willing to maybe be a little embarrassed, to maybe figure out, I don't know if I can do this, and to be a little uncertain about it, and sometimes just want to quit. And they did. They didn't always come in real cheery. Some of them just closed their books and said, no, I can't do this. And we waited, and like you, they picked up the book again, and so will you. As long as you know that vision is out there and have faith that you will get there, and you do not need to know all the hows. If you take a step like these kids did, the how will become clear with each step. So, figure out your outcome and take a step. And then another step. And never, ever give up on yourself. You are valuable, and I want you to have the feeling that each of those kids had when they read their impossible books. Thanks for coming. Take care. Come back tomorrow because I will be here, and I'll be looking for you because you are important. Bye for now.